Hey, General, welcome to Music City. Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
What percentage of American politicians do you think will eventually wind up in Guantanamo Bay?
So I actually think that you could write a song about that. And you definitely could write a song about that. If there's one thing, and I'll keep this answer short because it's one of the last times I was with Trump, we were talking. He's like, we're in the room and there's a couple other people, and he's like, "Where the hell's the Durham report?" The one thing that the American people, number one, we are the most forgiving people on earth. Absolutely forgiving. You know, you come forward, you give witness to whatever, and people are like, I forgive you. But the other thing that the American people demand, and we need to, this is part of our message, part of this drumbeat that we have to do, is we have to demand accountability. We have to have it. You have to have it. And it's not accountable because you're a Republican or a Trump supporter. You know, I mean, I go around and say, yeah, I'm a deplorable, I'm an irredeemable, I'm a chump. You know, I love those badges. But I believe in this country. So this country is about accountability. And we cannot have unaccounted for bureaucrats in our country, in Washington, D.C., that think that we work for them. They work for us. So you guys ought to think about what I'm telling you. Music is very, very powerful. Music is very powerful. I mean, just the little bit that we heard here today, and everybody knows this. I mean, music is powerful. We've got to use every single tool that we have in our inventory, right? In our sort of weapon system inventory, we've got to use all these tools. And music is a very powerful tool because it moves people. And everybody knows when they listen to it, it's like the message, right? There's a message in that. And so here we are in Nashville, right? Or certainly in and around the beautiful city of Nashville. And a lot of good has come out of this place. A lot of good. And it's not just the music, but it's also the people. So, I mean, I know you're an amazing guy, and so you should think about that, because I think a song about accountability or lack thereof ought to be written by somebody in Nashville who's a country music hall of famer. Right here, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay? Yes, sir. I'll repeat the question.
Question, but first of all, I would like to say the best news I get about you comes from the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. There are people in Europe that give us more good news, any news about you, than I can get from any local.
Something, isn't
it? It is, and you have millions of people across the sea that are praying for you like this. Most of us are praying that in the restructured government, you will have the highest office possible. While you were making the introduction, you made reference to Europe and the concentration camps. And then you said, 2022 doesn't matter to me. 2024 doesn't matter to me. And just a few seconds later, you said, President Trump. Yeah. That's what all of us call him. So, that being said, if 2022 doesn't matter to you, and 2024 doesn't matter to you, and President Trump obviously does, what are you really saying matters to you?
Yeah.
All of us listen to you. I listen to what you don't say because you're military, so I know you're not going to do it.
guys got a song to sing?
When will we get some kind of replacement?
Say it. Say
Somebody gotta tell us what you're doing and what you're saying, because we want to hear it.
So so to rattle off, you know, I've become a big fan and a great friend of Mike Lindell, and he's a terrific guy. So a couple of things, and it's interesting about overseas, and like I said, prayer is the most powerful weapon system. I'm standing here today because of the prayer warriors around this country, you know, many of you in this room, and that message, it happened. Whatever that was meant to be, it happened. So, but I mentioned Mike Lindell because he's actually, you know, sort of putting his money where his mouth is, and I love him for that. He's an American story. I mean, just an incredible, you know, and some funny stories about him. But his these documentaries that are out there, absolute proof, scientific proof, and then one is about to break here tomorrow, or maybe it's on Monday, and it's called Absolute Interference. And essentially, what we know to be true is that we were attacked by a foreign adversary, in this case China, on the 3rd of November, and it had, so there's the foreign, and then the domestic side was there is a lot of infiltration that has occurred in our country, inside of our government, and elsewhere in our economic system, in just every aspect of who we are. So this foreign adversary attack against our country, everybody knows about cyber attacks and your data and all this stuff. Well, why wouldn't they do it? I mean, right? And so they did it. So with Trump, I think with President Donald J. Trump, where we're at is, as far as I'm concerned, he was legitimately elected. So what I have to figure out, or I in a collective sense, what we need to figure out is, I want to get that right. I do not want to be told, you know, like in the Wizard of Oz, you know, don't look behind this curtain, right? I mean, no, I want to see behind the curtain. Otherwise, I have, you know, in the institution of our voting process, I have no faith in it, and I don't want to have no faith in our free and fair vote in this country, because we are a one person, one vote country. You know, the poorest person in America has the same strength as the richest, as the most wealthiest person in this country. But it kind of doesn't feel like that happened this time, right? So we have to make sure that we get that right. That's why my focus is forward. My vision is forward, but I want to make sure that we are, you know, bringing along the things that are the harder right path that we have to follow. And this harder right path that we have to follow is standing up here, and I know that because you're under threat all the time. You say something like that, and so, you know, they're going to come knocking on your door. Please come knock on my door, because I know exactly what I'll say. You know, and I know exactly what my wife will say. You know? So what we have to keep fighting for is, we have to keep fighting for the truth to be exposed. And I mean, Tennessee is no different than Oklahoma, no different than Arizona, no different than California in terms of the kinds of things that you can do in this particular state. And I know that there's people from a bunch of other states. Don't give up. My bigger message is, don't give up. Know that you're not alone. Know that there's people out here that are going to fight this thing, and we're trying to help out where we can. We're trying to help out where we can. So I'll just finish today by, this is really my first sort of endeavor with this America's Future entity, but this is really from me, and from the bottom of my heart, this is just one big, you know, hug, and to say a thank you to the American people for allowing me to stay in this position. God bless you, and God bless America.